The UConn Huskies and the Louisville Cardinals are headed to the women's NCAA Final Four, along with the South Carolina Gamecocks and Stanford. This has been a long and tough fought tournament, and these four teams have really put in work and showed really good discipline and determination to be able to last this long. Two of the star players for these teams, Paige Bueckers and Hailey Van-Lith, have both been on their games in tournament play. We all remember when Paige went down with that injury earlier in the year, and that really threatened her season, and also the season of the team as a whole. To see her not only come back from that, but also pick up right where she left off, just shows the type of heart she has as a player, and that bodes well for her future prospects in the WNBA. You want that type of player if you are a GM building a championship caliber team. She is a real gamer, and you can really tell that she is a player that likes to get up for games, meaning the more important or the more implication behind the game, the more locked in she will be. That type of player is well respected within our audience on this channel because we champion bringing real competitive basketball back to the forefront of the sport and eliminating the friendly and uninspiring play that we see today a lot of the times. Paige Bueckers represent that. This game against NC State was probably the game of the year. Going to the wire and into double overtime. NC State is a tough and very formidable opponent, and they have a complete team. They can kill you inside the paint with Jones and their center, Q9. They also can kill you from outside with clutch field handling, the shot creating, and playmaking responsibilities. And Brown Turner hitting big shot after big shot. I mean, she was absolutely torching the net this game. They also have a defense that's stingy. So this would be a tough opponent to overcome, but the Huskies were able to do it. First off, it wasn't easy, but shout out to AZ Fudd. She was absolutely scorching from downtown. Her release reminds me so much of Eric Gordon of the Rockets from the men's game, and it's just pure. Like, her release is just pure. Kristen Williams put on the show, but Paige hit big shot after big shot, and her mid-range game off of the screen was hitting on all cylinders. Speaking of stingy defense, Louisville. They will hound you, and they make the game a foot race down the court every time. First off, shout out to the Michigan Wolverines. Naz Hillman is a great player, and they have great spacing all around her, to create easy opportunities. But Louisville is dangerous. Hailey Van-Lith is a dog, if I had ever seen one. She is really starting to come into her own. We all remember how she played in high school and was pretty much having her way with those players as expected. But coming into Louisville, it was pretty much expected of her to be more of a role player to start. But now she is finally getting her footing. And that means a lot for her, especially as she gets prepared for that next level. She was everywhere this game, and her defense is so tough. Just the way she's able to navigate around and get through screens, that's pro level. Her instincts on that end is impeccable. We all know how well of a shooter she is. If you've been following her for any time, you could pretty much determine that she's a pretty great shooter. But she really had the drive game going this game. That quick first step and that fearless motor going into the paint was a normal occurrence as she screamed for and one over and over. It got to the point where Michigan started just denying her the ball and face guarding her. And that just opened up more opportunities for her teammates as the players that were guarding her missed their assignments when it came to seeing ball in man and just being able to zone up because they were just so focused on Van-Lith receiving the ball. The biggest takeaway for me is just how competitive these girls are. And I just love to see that, competing at the highest level and not being friendly or soft or apologetic about it. That's how you earn your stripes in our world. I really can't figure out which of these girls are more competitive, but we'll have to see that, when they match up in the future sometime. But this is yet another win for women's basketball. You want your best and brightest stars to shine brightest on the biggest stages and not melt under pressure. Both Paige Bueckers and Hailey Van-Lith have been able to consistently put up the numbers. I think Hailey Van-Lith has put up 20 points per game in her last 4 outings. Paige Bueckers has been extremely consistent and showing up every single night. So this is translatable to the WNBA, and it grows the sport by creating classic games and intense battles. This is what stars are made of.